today we are here with Nicole Johnson with Columbia Gorge Home Staging. Hey, Nicole, how are you today?
Good to be here.
Good. Well, it's great to have you. So, Nicole, how long have we known each other?
7 years.
7 years. Yeah. And I met Nicole because she was staging my house. So I had a house in Carson and it needed to be staged, and she freshened up the inside and the outside, and it sold almost right away. And that was several years ago when the market wasn't as great as it is right now. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Nicole, and where you've been and how you got to the Gorge and what you do?
Okay. I was actually raised in Seattle. Met my husband, Sean, who was raised in Trout Lake, but was a captain at SeaTac Fire Department. Obviously, that's where I was living. When I met him, when we had children, he decided he was not going to raise his children in the city, and back to Trout Lake we moved. Raised our children there. Once they went off to college, we moved more local here to White Salmon. And I have been a paramedic for the last 20 years, and we're ready to end our EMS careers in about 5.5 years. So what are we going to do after that? Because we're still young enough to do something. So that's where the staging came into place.
Oh, so well, first of all, thank you for your EMS service, because I know that is, such an important part of our community, and we just all appreciate you and Sean and, the whole crew up there and everything you do for our community. Can you tell us, didn't you recently just build a house?
We did. We built our house 4 years ago, a week before our daughter's wedding.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Right.
Yes.
So what was that experience like for you?
Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. It's our forever home. I'm not moving again. So building it and having it exactly like we want it for the rest of our retirement years, it was very exciting.
Wow, that's great. So remind me again, Sean was from Trout Lake and wanted to move back and raise the kids here. How did you feel about that, moving from Seattle?
I thought it was pretty much the middle of nowhere, which made me a little bit nervous. And then after, of course, living there and raising my children and just the peacefulness that is here in the Columbia Gorge, and back to the roots of what life is all about, and family and raising our children and grandchildren now, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So the Columbia Gorge is it.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So how did the whole home staging business come about for you? I mean, how did you start that process?
So our daughter, Natasha, is a Windermere real estate broker.
She sure is. We love her very much.
Yes, me too. Very proud of her. She, obviously being in the real estate business, was showing houses to me that were being listed on the market, and there were things that would catch my eye that I thought, these people can make so much more money if they just did a few things to their home to put their best foot forward. It's your largest investment, so why not make it appealing, sell faster for top dollar? And that's where staging came in.
And so you were looking at properties, noticing, gosh, if they staged this house, or boy, it's too. So then you just started thinking about all the services that you could provide as a home stager.
Absolutely.
So do you bring in your like couches and all of those type of things, or how does that work?
Okay. I do. Every house is a little bit different. We obviously have occupied homes. If homes are occupied, I try to use as much as the homeowner's furniture or belongings as possible. If it's a vacant, obviously I bring in all of the home staging stuff, inventory that I have. And every home is very different, whether it be the lighting, the feel, the atmosphere, the area that the house is listed in. It all has to be cohesive enough so that the buyer walking in says, wow, I can completely see myself living here. And that's our big goal. We want that feeling. So staging isn't for the homeowner's taste. Staging is for the buyer that's walking in that door so that it's appealing to them.
So does it ever happen to you that the homeowner doesn't like the staging because it doesn't match their personalities, or maybe takes out their clown collection or something? That's a careful question.
I have never had a homeowner not appreciate the staging and say, wow, this looks fantastic. There is a little bit back and forth because homeowners have a certain taste, which is absolutely fine. We all do that in our own homes. But again, I'm not staging for them to live in it. I'm staging for the next buyer to live in it. So, and that's part of staging, is that I come in with fresh eyes. When we live in our homes, we get used to things and we start getting comfortable enough that we're not noticing, maybe this isn't so appealing to the next person coming in. So again, I come from the view with fresh eyes, from the buyer starting at the curb. I walk through, we do all the notes, I take all the pictures, and then walk completely through the home and come up with a plan of exactly what is going to be the most appealing for a new buyer to come in. And the sense is we're not appealing just to the visual, which obviously that's a big thing. It's also the temperature of the home, the smell of the home. How exactly is it going to hit a new person walking into this home? And again, we want them to feel like, oh, I could move in today. It feels that comfortable.
Well, what I was thinking about is when you said the smell of the home. Mm-hmm. So how do you deal with that?
Well, sometimes it's making sure that the home is clean, which obviously I prefer for a owner of a home to either clean it themselves or hire a cleaning company. It's a great investment to come in and have somebody, again, see everything that you don't see. So we start with the cleanliness of the home, and then from there, neutral air fresheners. I just walked into a home this past week that the air fresheners were so overwhelming that it just took you backwards. So nice neutral smells. Usually vanilla is what I stage with because it gives it that feel of the fresh baked cookies without having to bake the cookies. And it's not too overpowering or flowery. So that, or if we're dealing with pets, obviously shampooing carpets is important. Getting rid of the dog hair and everything that goes along with that. Or cat box. And that's some of the things that I notice when I see homes that are listed online is the photos where I can see dog beds, or I can see a cat box, or I can see their food trays out. All of that needs to be put away and hidden. If somebody walks into the home that has allergies to animals, that's an instant turnoff. And that's just stuff that people don't think of because, again, we love our pets and we're living in the home and we just don't notice those things.
Well, yeah. And I think that people get used to the smells of their house too. Mm-hmm. The cooking or the laundry, or maybe it sat in the washer too long or something. And you kind of forget about these things. Yes. And so that's where a fresh nose kind of benefits the homeowner. So one question I have for you is, how much does it cost for staging, and how does that work with the agent and the seller, or how does that whole dynamic work?
Okay. So the homeowners, sometimes it's the homeowners that hires me for staging. A lot of times it's the brokers, because time on the market is money for everybody. So for an occupied home, you can plan on spending 1% of what your home's value is. For a vacant home, it does end up being a little bit more because I am bringing in all of the inventory as opposed to using some of the homeowners. And again, it's the taste. If the homeowner's furniture is fitting for the schemes and the colors and the neutrals that we use, then that's fantastic. That saves the money, but sometimes it's not.
Well, and that's a very good point. So you stage not only a vacant home, you'll stage something that's owner occupied.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes that's coming in and decluttering as well. I had a client several years ago that I just absolutely loved. She was divorcing after many years, and she was ready for a fresh start. Obviously, she's in a very high emotional state. My crew went in. We helped her declutter. We got rid of the stuff she didn't want anymore, and the stuff she wanted to take to her next home, we went ahead and helped her box up. So she was able to go through things with the help of us, of a keep, get rid of, donate. And so the relief she had to know that she was already packed up and ready when this house sold was just a huge relief for her.
Wow, it kind of like gets them moving forward in
Absolutely.
a way. And I wasn't aware of the fact that you could do that. You would, as part of your services, that's a service that you offer in addition to staging, is decluttering.
Yes, absolutely. Putting a house on the market is stressful. It's stressful for any homeowner, no matter who you are. And so if I can help relieve that stress by coming in and being another set of hands, another set of eyes, whatever it takes that I can do to help my homeowner have an easier transition, that's what I'm all about.
Well, in the yard. So let's talk about curb appeal here.
Yes.
So you also, as far as part of staging, you mentioned it, that you have eyes and you take pictures from the moment you roll up to the house till you all the way through the home. So your crew can actually help the yard.
Absolutely.
So tell me about that.
So we'll do pressure washing, obviously driveways, patios. This house, I just had this last week. The patios need to be pressure washed. They had moss growing on them. We take care of all that stuff. So that, again, it frees up the homeowner to work or whatever they have going on in life. We start, again, with the curb. It's if you can't get a buyer inside the home, then it doesn't matter what your home looks like inside. So again, starting at the curb, whether it be weeding, bringing in mulch, accenting the landscape with certain shrubs and heights so that it's all aesthetically pleasing. It just depends on how much of the job is. Certain jobs we have to hire out to landscapers, depending on what the requirement is. But for the majority of it, if it's just beautification, that is something that we do take care of.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, wow.